They thought you were soft. They mistook your kindness for weakness. They assumed an earth angel would be gentle, submissive, easy to manipulate. But what they didn't know is that the most dangerous force in the universe isn't darkness. It's a light that refuses to be dimmed. See, when a chosen one walks into a room, the energy shifts. People feel it, even if they don't understand it. And at first, they might laugh. They might test you, thinking you're just another soul they can control. They take your patience for granted. They push and push, assuming you'll fold. Until one day, you remind them who you are. Because here's the thing about earth angels. You are forged in the fire of trials, sculpted by divine hands, and protected by a force beyond their comprehension. You didn't just survive the darkness. You mastered it. You know its tricks, its lies, and its illusions. And when people try to use deception against you, you see through it. When they try to break you, you stand taller. And when they try to destroy you, that's when they truly understand what they're dealing with. So now, they're terrified. Not because you seek revenge, not because you stoop to their level. No, because you rise above it all, untouched, unstoppable. And nothing is more terrifying than a force that cannot be controlled. Today, we're diving into why they never expected you to be more powerful than their darkest intentions, and why your presence alone is enough to strike fear into those who tried to bring you down. Stay tuned, because by the end of this, you'll understand why they'll never cross you again. They thought you were weak, until you showed them otherwise. For so long, they thought they had you figured out. They saw your kindness and assumed it was naivety. They saw your patience and mistook it for fear. They saw your silence and assumed you had nothing to say. But what they failed to realize was that you were simply watching. See, an earth angel doesn't react the way the world expects. You don't fight every battle. You don't entertain every provocation. You don't waste energy proving yourself to people who are blind to your worth. You wait. You observe. You move in silence. And by the time they realize that you were never the fool in this game, it's too late. Because while they were underestimating you, while they were throwing shade, setting traps, spreading lies, you were growing, evolving, becoming even stronger. And then, the moment came. The moment when their deception crumbled, when their illusions failed, when they saw that the person they tried to manipulate, control, and destroy was actually 10 steps ahead the entire time. And that's when the fear set in. The fear that comes when they realize who you truly are. It's funny how the same people who laughed at you now whisper behind your back, isn't it? How the ones who once mocked you now avoid making eye contact. How the same people who tried to bring you down now walk on eggshells around you. That's because they see it now. They see that you knew all along. You saw their jealousy. You saw their envy. You saw their fake smiles and hidden agendas. You saw the games they played while they assumed you were blind. But you weren't blind. You were patient. And that's the thing about chosen ones. You don't just survive betrayal. You transcend it. You don't just recognize the darkness in others. You learn how to use it against them without even lifting a finger. Your power isn't in revenge. It's in your presence. It's in the way you carry yourself, untouched, unbothered, undefeated. And now, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to face you because they never expected you to be stronger than their worst intentions. The moment their manipulation stops working, there's a shift that happens when a chosen one wakes up to their own power. At first, people think they can still pull the same tricks. They try the same mind games, the same guilt trips, the same manipulation tactics. They hope that maybe, just maybe, you'll fall for it one last time. But then, you don't react the way they expected. You don't chase them. You don't explain yourself. You don't seek their validation. You just walk away. And that's when the panic sets in. Because their control over you, gone. Their ability to feed off your energy, cut off. The power they thought they had, shattered. And now, they have to face themselves, without you there to absorb their negativity. That's when they realize they never had power over you. You were always the one in control. They were only strong because you allowed them to be. And when you take your light away from someone who thrives in darkness, it exposes everything they try to hide. They underestimated your strength. Now they fear it. Some people assume that kindness means weakness. They think that just because you don't fight back the way they do, you don't have the strength to defend yourself. But what they fail to understand is that the strongest warriors fight battles in silence. You don't need to scream. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove anything. Because your energy speaks for itself. And the moment they saw that, the moment they realized you weren't someone they could manipulate, bully, or control, that's when their fear replaced their arrogance. They started watching their words around you. They started second-guessing their actions. They started realizing that the person they tried to break was unbreakable. And nothing is more terrifying to someone who thrives on power than realizing they never had any over you. The regret hits them harder than they ever expected. Here's the thing about people who underestimate you. They don't realize what they had until it's gone. They thought they could treat you however they wanted, that they could take advantage of your kindness without consequences, that they could play their little games and you would always be there, forgiving, understanding, available. But the moment you walked away, the moment you stopped entertaining their nonsense, that's when they felt the loss. They felt the emptiness. They felt the absence of your energy. They felt the weight of their own darkness, because without you to balance it out, they're left to deal with themselves. And that's what terrifies them the most. It's not just that you left. It's that you saw them for who they really are, and you still chose to walk away. Because that means they can't fool anyone anymore, not even themselves. They look foolish now because you were always steps ahead. Now, they don't just regret losing you. They're embarrassed. Embarrassed that they thought they could deceive you. Embarrassed that they ever believed they were smarter than you. Embarrassed that they spent so much time trying to control someone who was never within their reach to begin with. And that's the ultimate irony, isn't it? The same people who once ridiculed you are now the ones avoiding you. The same ones who thought they could use you are now desperate to get back in your good graces. The same ones who called you weak now whisper about your strength. Because they see it now. They see that the earth angel they thought was easy to manipulate is actually the most powerful force they've ever encountered. And no matter how much they wish they could undo their actions, no matter how much they want to turn back time, it's too late. At the end of the day, chosen one, the greatest revenge isn't words. It isn't proving them wrong. It isn't lowering yourself to their level. It's simply being everything they swore you could never be. It's thriving. It's succeeding. It's standing tall while they crumble under the weight of their own deception. Because here's what truly destroys them. They thought they had power over you, but they were never in control to begin with. See, when you walk away from toxic people, you don't just leave them behind. You leave them exposed. Exposed to their own emptiness. Exposed to the truth they tried to hide from themselves. Exposed to the reality that they needed you far more than you ever needed them. And that's why they look foolish now. Because all that time they spent plotting, scheming, and manipulating, it was for nothing. You were never fooled. You were never weak. You were never within their grasp. And now, they have to live with that truth. They have to wake up every day knowing that the chosen one they tried to break is now stronger than ever. And what do you do now? You keep rising. You keep building. You keep shining. You keep stepping into your destiny, unshaken, undefeated, unstoppable. Because while they're stuck in their own cycles, trapped by their own bitterness, you're too busy winning. And that, chosen one, is how you make them regret ever doubting you. Final call to action. If this message resonated with you, drop A in the comments. Let them know that you see through everything. Let them know that you're no longer playing their games. And most importantly, let them know that the chosen one always rises. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because your journey is just beginning, and we're in this together. Until next time, stay powerful, stay unshaken, and stay unstoppable.